Okay? Okay. Anyway, my name is David Marshall. I'm the husband of Zina Latif. And Zina Latif is one of 5 children that were raised by Nisa. Nisa was a mother at a time when it was difficult for my mother, because Baha'is were not recognized as being legitimate human beings back in those days, just as they are not now. But because she was a Baha'i, she was able to raise her children with a different set of ideals, a different standard, a different view of the world. And so each and every one of her children became brilliant stars, became great scholars, became pearls that have spread out through our lives, and as you all know, enriched each one of us. I really miss her. I can't bring her back, but I do remember how kind she was. She was always a peacemaker. When there was a fight, she would be the first one to try to stop the fight. Whenever there was a problem, she would be the first one to try to solve the problem. She was never a war maker or never a troublemaker. And we all miss her very much.
O my God, unite the hearts of thy servants and reveal to them thy great purpose. May they follow thy commandments and abide in thy law. Help them, O God, in their endeavor and grant them strength to serve thee. O God, leave them not to themselves, but guide their steps by the light of thy knowledge, and cheer their hearts by thy love. Verily, thou art their helper and their Lord. Baha'u'llah.
From Thessalonians, the coming of the Lord. Brothers, we do not want you to be ignorant about the Brothers, we do not want to be ignorant about those who fall asleep, or to grieve like the rest of men who have no hope. We believe that Jesus died and rose again, and so we believe that God will bring with Jesus those who have fallen asleep in him. According to the Lord's own word, we tell you that we who are still alive, who are left till the coming of the Lord, will certainly not precede those who have fallen asleep. For the Lord himself will come down from heaven with a loud command, with the voice of the archangel, and with the trumpet call of God. And the dead in Christ will rise first. After that, we who are still alive and are left will be caught up together with them in the clouds to meet the Lord in the air. And so we will be with the Lord forever. Therefore, encourage each other with these words.
الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين.
God could not be everywhere, therefore he made mothers. For those of us gathered to pay tribute to Sayyida Khanum Nisa, whom we call Ami, this adage holds much truth. Ami means mom. For she was one such mother, as well as grandmother, friend, smiling face. Ami was selfless in her thoughts and actions, with her only wish being the happiness of her beloved children and their extended families and friends. The heart of a mother is a deep abyss, at the bottom of which you will always find forgiveness, and time and again Ami gave credence to this belief. As the unassuming head of the family, she continually inspired all those around her through her wisdom, knowledge, and unconditional love. She always maintained that the moments when you have truly lived are the moments when you have done things in the spirit of love. We will never forget that which she passed on to us, in order for those that may come after us and enjoy those very sacred principles. As we bury people, sometimes we should never forget that we can keep them alive for generations if we keep them close to our hearts and try to follow the examples they have set. Every one of us is a face that represents the image of our ancestors, and for the Latif family, it is the day of reckoning in that the highest moral standards set by Ami should be those that we impart to our children. The values Ami imparted were those of the inherent peace and unity in this world. Ideals such as global unity are often considered catchphrases that will transpire through miracles, but it can only be realized through the painstakingly struggle of raising islands of stability, which are strong family units. Matriarchs like Ami had boundless vision, but limited her role to nurture a more core unit that believed in creating unity and removing barriers of hatred to mankind. It is this devotion which she performed tirelessly and to the end of her life that will stay with us. A mother is the truest friend we have when trials heavy and sudden fall upon us, when adversity takes the place of prosperity, when friends who rejoice with us in our sunshine desert us when troubles thicken around us. Still will she cling to us and endeavor by her kind precepts and counsels to dissipate the clouds of darkness and cause peace to return to our hearts. I didn't write this, and this is very deep. Excuse me, as I'm reading this. Today, by the way, this was written by Iqbal, for those of you who know him. Okay? The brother, the son, eldest brother, I guess, right? Yeah. Today, as we mourn the passing of our Ami, we can take comfort in the fact that she led a most remarkable life and never deviated from the betterment and advancement of her children. As her spirit ascends into the heavens, we can only hope that we lived up to her expectations. It is said an Eastern monarch once charged his wise men to invent a sentence, one sentence to be ever in view, and which should be true and appropriate in all times and in all situations. They presented him with the words, quote, "And this too shall pass away," end quote. How much it expresses, how chastening in the hour of pride, how consoling in the depths of affliction. Mourning is an integral part of the human tradition as near and dear ones depart, but we must relax our own inhibitions since her departure is a new birth. Such is the eternal cycle of life etched since creation, and it is with great sadness and a tincture of joy that we embrace the ascension of her soul to the highest planes of existence. For us today, it is important that with her loss, much as we feel adrift, we do not lose sight of the fact that her journey has just begun. We rejoice that as a friend of humanity, she fulfilled her ambitions to establish a successful human unit through her untiring efforts. We mourn her passing, but celebrate and mark the end of a remarkable woman, made ever more so by her absolute determination to overcome the most difficult of circumstances. The story of our beloved mother is like that of many unknown wonderful mothers and is shrouded in mystery. Ami, in physical appearance, was petite and fragile, but this belied a steely resolve, her larger-than-life character, and the lasting contribution that she had made to the life of her loved ones. Many of you have seen her here and would have found her quiet, but hers was a wonderful story. In the 8 decades on earth, she had a remarkable life from her birth in a small village, I'll probably say this wrong, Nagama Sadat, in Uttar Pradesh, state of India, nearly 5,000 miles away from her final resting place in Florida. The bridging of this distance took nearly 80 years of selfless efforts and devotion. Although the Indian subcontinent was then a British colony, literacy rates were desperately low, and none really appreciated the need of education of women. In the time of Ami's birth, the circumstances and social structure she emerged from were quite hostile to any meaningful education of women. It was in the early part of the 20th century that the progressive and new Baha'i faith was introduced to the father of Ami, Sayyid Mushtaq Hussain, and Ami's village was in the heart of traditional values, untested by new ideas, let alone the equality of men and women, the basic tenet of the Baha'i faith. This village, Nagama Sadat, still exists, and its inhabitants still follow the traditions of 80 years ago. 80 years later, no social scientist could trace Ami's roots to this village without some serious explaining. After physical persecution, Ami and her family were forced out of this village at a very young age, and they moved to Delhi. The father of Ami pursued with vigor the education of his children, with special emphasis on the education of his daughters. Ami, in the early part of the century, embarked on the road of education and enlightenment. This required strong convictions and self-belief, and Ami's strong devotion in the Baha'i faith and the values enabled her to leave the older traditions that she was comfortable with from her home village. In her 6 years in Delhi, she studied to become a qualified herbal practitioner and a midwife, a renowned achievement for a woman of her times. In 1947, the partition of India into India, Pakistan, Bangladesh meant that once again, Ami had to leave her home, and this time she moved to the newly formed Pakistan. It was in this new nation that Ami met her future husband, Dr. Latif, and their offspring are now spread out across the globe. Theirs was, however, an unassuming beginning, Ami and Dr. Latif, this is, and they started their life in the humble surroundings of this village, Sikkur. Life was not easy for a Baha'i couple living in Pakistan then, and the prejudice that had plagued Ami during her youth did not subside, and this would be a major hurdle for them to always conquer. But through their drive and determination, they did not allow tried their best to understand these issues as well, and have helped create the training into a reality by genuinely practicing global unity as part and parcel of their shared dreams, sprung from none but Ami. The very reason they are able to arise from the trivial divisions besetting humanity is because the best of acts and ideas were instilled into their hearts and minds by Ami. and despite the best of intentions from both sides, it never really got anywhere. She was proud of this family that had grown from one single couple in Sakura. It was reassuring to her to know that as some journeys may come to an end, new journeys are starting. The parents are known by the training they impart to the families they help create. Our parents need great appreciation for helping us understand nicety and basic human goodness. In the human cycle, constructive beginnings and outlook plays the most dominant role. The ability to understanding and rationalizing tragedies and to help these sorrows become strength are something that our human family needs to understand very subtly. We, as a small human group, share these very private moments of our grief with friends across the world. The word of prayers from churches and mosques and dharamshalas? Okay, sorry. And synagogues help us to appreciate the way humanity has shrunk. Our joys and collective pains keep us totally focused that even when things look the worst, one should not lose hope and keep the ideas flowing. I will close this eulogy on this beautiful piece by Clyde Hager. You are a wonderful mother, dear old mother of mine. You hold a spot down deep in my heart till the stars no longer shine. Your soul shall live on forever, on through the fields of time, for there'll never be another to me like that wonderful mother of mine.
He is God, exalted is He, the Lord of loving kindness and bounty. Glory be unto Thee, Thou, O my God, the Lord omnipotent. I testify to Thine omnipotence and Thy might, Thy sovereignty and Thy loving kindness, Thy grace and Thy power, the oneness of Thy being and the unity of Thine essence, the sanctity and exaltation above the world of being, and all that is therein. O my God, Thou seest me detached from all save Thee, holding fast unto Thee, and turning unto the ocean of Thy bounty, to the heaven of Thy favor, to the day star of Thy grace. Lord, I bear witness that in Thy servant Thou hast reposed Thy trust, and that is the Spirit wherewith Thou hast given life to the world. I ask of Thee by Thy splendor, of the orb of Thy revelation, mercifully to accept from him that which he hath achieved in Thy days. Grant then that he may be invested with the glory of Thy good pleasure and adorned with Thine acceptance. O my Lord, I myself and all created things bear witness unto Thy might, and I pray Thee not to turn away from Thyself the Spirit that hath ascended unto Thee, unto the heavenly place, Thine exalted paradise, and Thy retreats of nearness, O Thou who art the Lord of all men. Grant then, O my God, that Thy servant may consort with Thy chosen ones, Thy saints and Thy messengers, in heavenly places that the pen cannot tell nor the tongue recount. O my Lord, the poor one hath verily hastened unto Thy kingdom and Thy wealth, the stranger unto his home within Thy precincts. He that is sore athirst to the heavenly rivers of Thy bounty, deprive him not, O Lord, from his share of the banquet of Thy grace and from the favor of Thy bounty. Thou art in truth the Almighty, the gracious, the all-bountiful. O my God, Thy trust hath been returned unto Thee. It behooveth Thy grace and Thy bounty that have compassed Thy dominions on earth and in heaven, to vouchsafe unto the newly welcomed one Thy gifts and Thy bestowals, and the fruits of the tree of Thy grace, powerful art thou to do as thou willest. There is none other God but thee, the gracious, the most bountiful, the compassionate, the bestower, the pardoner, the precious, the all-knowing. I testify, O my Lord, that thou hast enjoined upon men to honor thy guests, and he hath ascended unto thee, hath verily reached thee, and attained thy presence. Deal with him then according to thy grace and bounty, by thy glory. I know of certainty that thou wilt not withhold thyself from that which thou hast commanded thy servants, nor wilt thou deprive him that have clung to the cord of thy bounty, and have ascended to the dayspring of thy wealth. There is none other God but thee, the one, the single, the powerful, the omnipotent, and the bountiful. Baha'u'llah.
This is the Urdu translation of what Fozia just now read. So I'll read the same prayer in Urdu, the prayer for departed souls by Baha'u'llah. تو پاک ہے یہ میرے معبود ہے میرے خدا، میں تیری قدرت و قوت اور تیری سلطنت و عنایت اور تیرے فضل و اقتدار اور تیری ذات توحید و یکتائی اور عالم اشیاء و عالم تقدیس سے تیز تنزیہ کی شہادت دیتا ہوں۔ اے پروردگار، تو مجھے دیکھ رہا ہے کہ میں تیرے ماسوا سے بے نیاز ہوں، تیرا ہی دامن تھام رہا ہوں، تیرے دریائے عطا اور آسمان کرم اور آفتاب رحمت کی طرف متوجہ ہوں۔ پروردگار، میں گواہی دیتا ہوں کہ تو نے اپنے بندوں کو حامل امانت بنایا ہے، یعنی سے رو عطا فرمائی ہے جس سے عالم میں زندگی نمودار ہوئی۔ میں تیرے آفتاب ظہور کی تجلیات کا واسطہ دے کر التجا کرتا ہوں کہ تیرے بندے نے جو اعمال تیرے یوم ظہور میں کیے نہ قبول فرماؤ، اور اس بندے کو اپنی خوشنودی کی عزت اور قبولیت کی خلوت سے آراستہ و پیراستہ فرماؤ۔ پروردگار، میں گواہی دیتا ہوں اور تمام کائنات تیری قدرت کی گواہ ہیں، اے خداوند عالم، میں درخواست کرتا ہوں کہ اس روح کو جو دنیاؤں سے اٹھ کر تیری طرف گئی ہے اپنی فردوس اعلیٰ اور جنت عالیہ و مقام قرب سے محروم نہ فرماؤ۔ پھر اے خدا، اپنے بندوں کو ان مقامات میں اپنے اوصیاء و اولیاء و انبیاء کا ہم نشین بناؤ جن کے مقامات کے ذکر سے کلمے اور زبانیں عاجز ہیں۔ پروردگار، فقیر تیرے ملک کے بے نیاز کی طرف پیاسا اور مسافر تیرے پاس اپنے وطن اصلی کی جانب اور پیاسا تیرے کوثر عنایت کی سمت چلا جا رہا ہے۔ اے پروردگار، اپنے دسترخوان فضل نعمت و عنایت سے اس بندے کو الگ نہ کر، بے شک اقتدار و عزت و قدرت کا مالک نہایت فضل کرنے والا ہے۔ پروردگار، تیری امانت تیری طرف لوٹ گئی، تیرے ملک و ملکوت پر چھائے ہوئے آسمان و فضل کے کرم کے شایع و نشان یہ ہے کہ تو اپنے نئے مہمان پر اپنی نعمت نازل فرماؤ، اسے اپنے باغ فضل کے پھل کھلاؤ۔ بے شک تو جو چاہتا ہے کرتا ہے، تیرے ساتھ کوئی خدا نہیں، تو ہی بہت فضل کرنے والا، فیاض، مہربان، کرم فرماؤ، بخشنے والا، سب پر غالب، سب کچھ جاننے والا ہے۔ اے میرے معبود، میں گواہی دیتا ہوں کہ تو نے لوگوں کو مہمان نوازی کا حکم دیا ہے، اور یہ جو دنیا سے اٹھ گیا ہے مہمان ہو کر تیرے پاس پہنچا ہے تو اس کے ساتھ وہ سلوک فرماؤ جو تیرے آسمان فضل و دریائے کرم کے لائق ہوں۔ تیری عزت کی قسم، مجھے یقین ہے کہ اپنے آپ کو اس چیز سے نہ روکے گا جس کا اپنے بندوں کو حکم دیا ہے، اور اسے محروم نہ کرے گا جس نے تیری بخشش کی رسی کو تھام لیا اور تیرے غناؤں کی جانب صعود کیا ہے۔ تیرے سوا کوئی معبود نہیں، تو یکتا ہو، یگانا، قادر مطلق، سب کچھ جاننے والا ہے۔
on me. The last day I saw you awake was July 9th, 2003. I shall miss you forever. You passed on August 7th, 2003. I miss you day through night, week through week, month through month, season through season, year through year. I wander upon this world. You flew through the gates of heaven. I will wait years to meet God, and He lives a second away from me. I miss the way you made your food. You cared for your plants and everyone and everything around you. Maybe that's the reason people die, because they become very kind and loving through the years, that eventually they go to a world of no pain, no suffering, nothing but happiness. Maybe that's why life is hard, because it's a long obstacle, and if you complete it, you get the ultimate prize, meeting God. I will love you forevermore. I hope you can find your husband and daughter in heaven. Love, Isaac Latif Marshall.
I wish that you are with me. Please talk to me in my dreams. I like jasmine flowers like you did. I like jasmine flowers. I like jasmines because they smell very good and look pretty. You are in a better place now. You must be happy because you are not in pain anymore. I love you and I miss you. Love, Shahid Latif.
Okay. Dear Ami, I love you. Without you here, life is very upsetting. It is easier now to lie in my bed at night and think, cry, and try to remember you. I wish you left this harsh world in some sort of peace. There are two major ways I can remember you. Your jasmine flowers. I can search the entire world and never find any up to your standard. No matter what yours are and smell. What? Okay. Also, I will remember you by one thing. You and I would always share, even when I leave this world to see you. We will always be Anissa. The spelling is a bit different, but the pronunciation is the same. When I think about you, I still cannot get the feeling you are actually gone. I feel like you are with me and everyone else, everywhere, even when we are asleep. I feel closest to you when I know your blanket is with me in my bedroom. Then I know one part of you will always be close to my heart. It's hard as I read and write this not to get teary-eyed. Before you passed from this world to the next, I wish we could have said goodbye properly to you. I wish to see you one last time without machines trying to keep you alive. You were strong, but had your weak points. We all feel guilty because we feel we could have stopped you from having a slow, painful death. It's hard to look back at pictures with you and know you're not around anymore. Sometimes when I saw you lying on your bed, the pain showed on your face. It made me want to run outside and yell at God. I would think of saying, God, how could you be so cruel to such a kind and gentle person? Then I regained my cool and calmed down. It was very hard to see you suffer and know that I cannot do anything to help you, and that I am weak and do not have the power to heal you. God had the power, and He knows best. Maybe you died because God wanted another angel to accompany Him, or maybe He wanted someone to beautify His garden for Him. You fit the description perfectly. Ami, if you could hear this, I love you very much. Don't forget the ones you have left behind in this world. Please save us a spot in heaven right next to you. I love you now until forever. Love, Anissa.
Good evening, buenas noches. Oración Abdul-Bahá. Oh mi Dios, oh tú Otu, no, Life.
No, it's hard to say.
¿Ah? No, que no sé. Oh mi Dios, tú, perdona los pecados, el que confieres los dones, el que disipa las aflicciones. Verdaderamente te suplico que perdones los pecados de quienes han abandonado sus virtudes físicas y han ascendido al mundo espiritual. Oh mi Señor, purifícalos de sus transgresiones, disipa su tristeza y cambia su oscuridad en luz. Perdónales, permíteles entrar en el jardín de la felicidad. Límpialos con el agua purísima y concédeles que puedan contemplar tus resplandores sobre el más sublimes monte.
Of difficulties, say God, say praise be God, He is God, all are His servants, and all abide by His bidding. Next, we are going to do the I bear witness, oh my God prayer. I bear witness, oh my God, that Thou hast created me to know Thee and to worship Thee. I testify at this minute to my and to Thy might, to my poverty, to Thy wealth, there's other God with Thee. The help in peril is self-subsisting. Sorry about that. It was just a little mess up there. If you would you like us to redo that?
Yeah, it's okay.
Would you like blessed is the spot or I bear this? Okay. Blessed is the spot and the house and the place and the city and the heart and the mountain and the refuge and the cave and the mountain, the land and the sea.
I don't think they should sing.
It's supposed to be made and His praise
Attending this meeting. For all of you friends to coming here and attending this meeting. It means a lot to us, and I understand that there are some bugs around here, and I understand your patience, but I just wanted to say a few words about my mother. I'm Zena Marshall. I live in Florida, Orlando, Florida,
And for the last 10 years, my mother was living with me most of the time. As you all know, that we celebrate her life today, and all the good things that she did. We all love her very much. She was the great mother, the most loving, kind, and caring person that I have known in my life. And she tried to give those values to all of her children. She showed all kinds of patience and love and care to everyone who met her. And some of the things that I can remember that I can share with you all, my mother always loved to serve people, make food for them, and serve them. And every time anybody came to our house, she wanted to serve them dinner. She will tell me, and she always told me, that after I pass away, make sure that you give food in my name on a regular basis, because I want people to enjoy and have fun in life. And that was also a cultural thing, that she felt that serving dinner or serving food was very important to her, and I think it was part of her nurturance and caring that she always wanted to be imparted to everybody else around her. She also loved garden and plants, and one of the reasons she loved to live in Florida was because she enjoyed the weather and she loved the plants, and that what children were talking about, the jasmine. And I also remember that whenever I had friends over, she will always insist that they take one of her plants with them. So she was always there outside holding a planter that she wanted to give them as a gift. And after she passed away, all my friends told me that they have the plant in their garden, and they can remember her. Either she had given them an orange tree, a papaya tree, or mango tree, or a jasmine plant. So every one of my friends have those little gifts that she has given in their yards, and when I go to their houses, they show me that. And that is very nice, that she had good heart and she wanted to give that to everyone else around her. So once again, thank you very much for coming and sharing this very, very precious moment of our life with all of you nice, good friends. Thank you.
We are very grateful and thankful that you did come here to have this Memorial Day in honor of Sayyida Anita Khan, my mother. Actually, when I look at her, I could remember 9th of July 2003 forever, as long as I live on this planet. At nearly 6 unconscious call that somebody is just calling for help, and it was just from a very far distance. I ran down to the first floor and saw her that she was suffering from her heart attack or whatever it was, and then she went into coma. But what today I look at it is that every one of us has to pass from this world to the next, and definitely what character is left during a life will remain forever embedded in our brains, in our mind. Aside from being my mother and whatever, she had a great character, and actually one thing which I remember very well is that she used to say, like, if some person will do a bad deed to anyone and you want to think about doing it the same, she will always say, so you want to go to the same level? Are you a person of principle who will follow your life on principles, or you will be a reactionary who will react to how people will treat you? And I think I try to level my life according to that principle, simple principle, that you should have your own principles and you should not be a reactionary person. You cannot go down to that level if somebody hurts you, but to be more kind and generous. And that has guided me like a North Pole, or in Arabic we can say Sidratul Muntaha. Like when you are in a desert lost, that Sidratul Muntaha, or the point of direction, will help you to lead to your destiny. And that is the lesson I got from my dear mother. So here we end it, and we have a lot of food, so that I know that she is watching from heaven high, and she must be happy that we have gathered here to have a memory in her honor. Thank you very much.